He owed him a great debt. The madman from back then had helped him, and now he was determined to go to the Immortal Clan Imperial City to see if the madman had fully regained his memories. If there were no regrets, he would settle his thoughts. Regardless of his personality, whether he's changed or not, even if he harbors malicious intent toward me, I must see for myself. Wang Lin fell silent, but a hint of sorrow appeared in his eyes. The madman from back then, he didn't know what he had become now. Would he still, as before, sometimes roar or shout around him? Let me tell you, I am incredibly powerful. You. I will bite you to death, bite you to death. Damn it. Dare to play dead in front of me. It's raining. Xiaohong, come and massage my shoulders. Go tell my brother that I'm tired today and won't be cultivating. I'm going out to have some fun. Tell him not to come looking for me. I'll return when I'm done playing. If he dares to drag me back like usual, I'll cut ties with him. My blood, it's incredibly. I remember now. There was a little demon girl called Fei Fei who gave me something. The voice of the madman seemed to echo in his ears. In the dark ruins of the Dao demon sect, Wang Lin sighed lightly in the night. He still remembered that during the life and death calamity on the Zhuke star, the madman had appeared, holding him, and blocking the deadly divine art for him. He also remembered, during the third time traversing the mortal dream path, how he and the madman had drifted together in the void, experiencing years of time in the dream path with his former self from the mortal realm. I hope he hasn't changed too much. Wang Lin's sorrow deepened in his eyes. He had few friends, and the madman was one of them. In fact, he hadn't done much for the madman, let alone owe him any debt. It was the madman who had a great debt to Wang Lin. I must go to the Immortal Clan Imperial City, but it's bound to be dangerous. I need to make some preparations first. Wang Lin was silent, but his mind had already made up its decision. The 5 great heavenly venerables of the Immortal Clan. Wang Lin flipped his right hand, and the turtle shell fragment given to him by the ancestor of the Great Soul sect appeared. In addition to the map, it also contained information about the great heavenly venerables. Besides that, in the abode realm, Xian Luo had also told Wang Lin some things about the great heavenly venerables. The immortal emperor of the central continent inherits the 8 extremities path of the immortal ancestor, becoming the 8 extremities great heavenly venerable. The purple sun sect of the eastern continent, the strongest of the 9 sects and 13 schools, has the twin grand heavenly venerables. The Dao Yi sect of the southern continent, which has the Dao Yi grand heavenly venerable. The heaven and earth path of the northern continent, which has the Wufeng great heavenly venerable. In the central continent, aside from the immortal emperor, there is another great heavenly venerable, the Judy great heavenly venerable. These are the places of the immortal clan, within the 72 continents, 5 peerless powerhouses, 5 suns, and great heavenly venerables. Wang Lin's gaze flickered as he analyzed these 5 great heavenly venerables. With his current cultivation, if the great heavenly venerables were to learn of him, they would undoubtedly try to recruit him to their side. And once a great heavenly venerable stood behind him, the danger of his journey to the Immortal Clan Imperial City would significantly decrease. After all, even the immortal Emperor Baji, if he wanted to kill a heavenly venerable under another great heavenly venerable's command, would need to provide a reason. After all, the heavenly venerables are beings beyond the golden venerables and are extremely rare on the immortal astral continent. Each great heavenly venerable only has, at most, fewer than 100 heavenly venerables under their command. The entire immortal clan continent has fewer than 1,000 heavenly venerables now. And if they were to kill an ordinary heavenly venerable, it would be one thing. But if the one killed was a transcendent heavenly venerable, then no matter which great heavenly venerable it was, they would not tolerate it. Because transcendent heavenly venerables are even rarer and more precious. There are only 48 transcendent heavenly venerables on the entire immortal clan continent. Among these 48, most are in closed-door cultivation, hidden in various places on the immortal astral continent. Less than 30% of them are recruited under the command of any great heavenly venerable. Such individuals, even the great heavenly venerables would treat with great respect, as they are the strongest beings under their command. If they don't wish to follow the great heavenly venerables, Unless they challenged them like Luo Yinhai, the great heavenly venerables would not force them to join. And once a transcendent heavenly venerable decides to follow a great heavenly venerable, that great heavenly venerable will certainly treat them as a trusted aid after evaluation and investigation. They will be given special respect because such cultivators are the best protectors when the great heavenly venerables reincarnate. If such a transcendent heavenly venerable were killed by another great heavenly venerable, if it's alone, it might be accepted. But if they become part of another great heavenly venerable's forces, it would definitely not be tolerated. This concerns honor, future recruitment, and even the crucial protection after reincarnation. No great heavenly venerable would sit idly by and let one of their transcendent heavenly venerables be killed. Transcendent heavenly venerables are far too rare. If it were in the ancient clan, there would be no need for such caution with the master present. Wang Lin understood. Even though he was the only disciple of Xian Luo in the Immortal clan, he could not reveal such matters. Otherwise, with his current cultivation, he would undoubtedly face the crushing blow of a grand heavenly venerable. The Immortal clan could never allow a cultivator of the ancient clan's kind to emerge. As for master's matters, not even a madman knows of them. Only the Unity sect is aware. However, since master dared to let the Unity sect know and did not kill them in the abode realm, it must be because he has confidence that the Unity sect will not divulge this. As for the specific reasons, I do not know, but I trust my master. To the grand heavenly venerable, even if he knows I possess the bloodline of the ancient clan and practice both the ancient and immortal paths, he will not care, as long as he does not know of my relationship with Master Xian Luo. Wang Lin had spent quite a bit of time in the immortal astral continent, and he faintly understood that for countless years, the immortal clan and the ancient clan had already intermingled their bloodlines. In this intermingling, some immortal clan cultivators appeared, possessing ancient clan physiques, though they had not gained recognition from the ancient ancestor temple. In this case, even though Wang Lin had the body of the ancient clan, it might appear shocking to ordinary cultivators, but to a grand heavenly venerable, it was not that surprising. Moreover, Wang Lin understood something very well. There were certain things in this world that did not need to be hidden. His origin from the abode realm was something that had to be concealed from others, but not from the grand heavenly venerable. They would certainly find out, and, in fact, this could be a good thing for the grand heavenly venerable, as it would give him a clear understanding of Wang Lin's origins. Though it would be a great shock to see a cultivator from the abode realm emerge, with Wang Lin's cultivation, none of this mattered. What truly mattered was Wang Lin's choice. To attract the grand heavenly venerable's attention, the only way is to reveal my cultivation strong enough to kill a heavenly venerable. Only then can I make a name for myself in the immortal clan. Once I gain fame, the grand heavenly venerable will surely come to find me. Wang Lin's eyes flashed, and his inner resolve grew firmer. As for the 5 great heavenly venerables, I can rule out the immortal emperor. As for the other 4, I am not familiar with Dao E Grand Heavenly Venerable, Wufeng Grand Heavenly Venerable, or Judy Grand Heavenly Venerable, but there is the matter of the twin Grand Heavenly Venerables from the Purple Sun sect in the Eastern Continent. I have met them once in the abode realm. Wang Lin's mind recalled meeting 2 adorable little girls named Wawa and Han Hai when he encountered Greed Wolf in the abode realm. Attracting the grand heavenly venerable's attention and letting him come to find me. That is the best way. Wang Lin's eyes flashed once more as he slowly closed them. He was waiting for the arrival of the Dao Demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor. He intended to remain in peak condition to face the heavenly venerable in battle and gauge the extent of his own cultivation. The golden venerable was no longer sufficient for Wang Lin to compare his cultivation and precisely determine his level. Only a grand heavenly venerable could do that. As he waited, Wang Lin mercilessly absorbed and refined the suppressed primordial soul of the Dao Demon sect's sect leader within him. However, he did not immediately condense the second godspeed art meridian. Instead, he retrieved the dozens of primordial souls from powerful cultivators he had obtained, selecting the ones with a void tribulation stage below 5 times, and devoured them one by one. As time passed, after several hours, just as the sky began to brighten, Wang Lin had devoured 9 primordial souls of cultivators below 5 times in the void tribulation. A deafening roar rang out from within him, and the second godspeed art meridian suddenly formed into a swirling vortex. The instant this second meridian appeared, Wang Lin abruptly opened his eyes, and as he sensed it, he realized that the speed at which he cast spells had increased even more. The third meridian is coming. Wang Lin flicked his sleeve and, from the dozens of primordial souls, selected 7 from cultivators above the 5th level of the void tribulation. After devouring them all, and since there weren't enough void tribulation cultivator souls, he also consumed a soul from a cultivator at the early void tribulation stage. His body rumbled, and the third meridian clearly appeared. With the appearance of the 3 meridians, Wang Lin felt the 3 meridian vortexes within him spin. He could instantly cast a myriad of divine abilities, and even the speed of his Tao ancient body had noticeably changed. This was different from the cultivator who had obtained the godspeed art. That cultivator could only increase their spellcasting speed, unable to trigger body movement. The key difference was that the cultivator's first meridian had been formed by consuming the soul of a void nirvana cultivator, while Wang Lin's was from profound void. The dozens of primordial souls, now mostly devoured, were collected by Wang Lin for future use. I wonder how many more meridians I can form using the Tao Demon sect leader's primordial soul for my godspeed art. Wang Lin closed his eyes and began using the Tao Demon sect leader's primordial soul to form another meridian. At this moment, the sky grew bright and sunlight poured down. As Wang Lin was concentrating on forming the meridian, at the border of Meng Earth Continent and Green Demon Continent, a long rainbow streaked across the sky with an overwhelming force. In an instant, it crossed the boundary of Meng Earth Continent and entered Green Demon Continent. All the cultivators in Meng Earth Continent, witnessing the passing of the rainbow, were shaken to their core and did not dare to make a sound. The boundaries between the continents are completely ignored by the heavenly venerables. Even when forcibly using the soul search technique, one can usually only obtain fragmented memories and not the whole. Unless one's cultivation greatly surpasses that of the golden venerable, then it might be possible to achieve perfection. Although Wang Lin can defeat the golden venerable, that is only because of the fusion of his physical Tao ancient power and his cultivation strength. In reality, his cultivation is only at the early stage of void tribulation. The primordial spirit of the Tao demon sect leader was refined into divine veins inside Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin once tried to perform a soul search, but only obtained some unimportant memories. There were no secrets of the battle between Heavenly Ox Continent and Green Devil Continent, only thoughts related to the Heavenly Venerable Ancestor. Tao Demon Sect's Heavenly Venerable Ancestor, under the command of Tao Grand Heavenly Venerable. At noon, with the crimson sun high in the sky and scorching sunlight pouring onto the land, Wang Lin opened his eyes, and a flash of brilliance passed through his gaze. Inside his body, a 4th and 5th divine vein appeared. A single golden venerable had caused him to develop 2 divine veins. With a wave of his arm, a trail of afterimages passed by, and Wang Lin clearly felt that not only had his spellcasting speed increased, but also his terrifying physical strength. This was the key to the swift god art, and the charm that attracted Wang Lin. Let's see how fast my body is now. Wang Lin lifted his head and swayed his body, but his body remained seated in a meditative position. However, about 3 feet in front of him, the sunlight slightly distorted, and a second Wang Lin appeared. The second Wang Lin smiled and walked forward, and in the distorted sunlight 10 feet away, the third Wang Lin appeared. The third Wang Lin furrowed his brow, standing still and staring at the sky, seemingly lost in thought. Soon, as the sunlight continued to warp around them, a 4th, 5th, 6th, until 98 figures appeared. Among them were some sitting cross-legged, some flying, some walking, some using divine abilities, and others swinging their fists. They all varied, creating a truly astounding scene in this 1,000-foot radius. The 98th figure sat cross-legged next to the first figure, both of them identical except for the difference in expression. 98 afterimages, that is the current limit, murmured the last figure, who sat cross-legged. He watched as the first figure dissipated, followed by the second, third, fourth, and all the way to the 97th figure, all disappearing one by one. The 98 figures could be seen as doppelgangers, created by Wang Lin's incredibly fast physical speed. Once he reached a certain level, his afterimages reflected his speed under the sunlight, which was truly astonishing. If one relied on spells or divine abilities to achieve such an effect, it would be simple, but relying purely on physical strength to reach this speed was far from ordinary. Now I have 6 divine veins. Swift God art can form 9 divine veins, but it doesn't specify that 9 is the limit. Perhaps after 9 divine veins, new changes will occur. This technique is extremely powerful and is the divine ability I must cultivate next. Wang Lin sat cross-legged, his eyes gleaming. He had already determined his future path, and now, it was all about how to walk it. Once I've dealt with the Immortal Clan's affairs, I'll go to Master and cultivate under him. While doing so, I'll become stronger, allowing me to go anywhere and search for Xun'er's fragment of soul. My combat power is high now, but in comparison to those ancient monsters, my cultivation is still far behind. My 9 origin sources, when split into 3 parts, according to my understanding, using the example of the 5 elements avatar, if I can condense the remaining 2 elements of the 5 elements power to unify them, my cultivation should rise a level, reaching the mid-stage of void tribulation. Similarly, if I take the Thunder origin avatar as the main special origin and add 2 more to unify them, I should be able to reach the late stage of void tribulation as a golden venerable. Finally, the most difficult is the void origin. If I can comprehend 2 more, 5 unified, I should reach the peak of void tribulation at the heavenly venerable level. After reaching perfection, if all my origins condense into true forms, these 3 unified true forms will push my cultivation beyond void tribulation perfection, reaching a level just beneath the grand heavenly venerable. As for breaking through to the grand heavenly venerable, although I don't know how, Master once said it requires a great opportunity, perhaps one that will appear when the primordial divine realm opens. But if I can condense all 3 of the great origin true forms and complete the final unification, maybe I can become a grand heavenly venerable. Wang Lin fell silent, his eyes flashing. This was all his analysis, but time would be needed to verify it. If my analysis is correct, then above the grand heavenly venerable, there must be another level. This level might be the 4th step, or it might not. This level requires the final true form, formed by unifying my 3 origin true forms, reaching the true God level. At this level, even the grand heavenly venerable has not reached it, always in pursuit. Perhaps, this level represents the strength of the immortal progenitor and the ancient ancestor. Wang Lin's mind was exceptionally clear at this moment. Though these were his own judgments and speculations, they represented the path he was destined to take. Whether true or not, once accomplished, all would be known. Special origins and void origins are hard to obtain, but the gold and wood origins in the 5 elements should be easier. Wang Lin murmured as the midday sun slowly began to lose its intense heat. In the distance, a faint sound like thunder could be heard. Wang Lin raised his head, looking toward the sky. He slowly stood up as the wind blew, lifting his white hair and robes, giving him a peculiar aura amidst the ruins. They're here. Wang Lin's eyes filled with battle intent. To attract the attention of the grand heavenly venerable. To make a name for myself across the 72 continents of the Immortal Clan. This battle marks the beginning. The sound of rumbling grew louder, eventually enveloping the entire world, transforming into a chilling, thunderous roar. A long rainbow streaked across the sky, as if it were tearing open the heavens, heading straight for the Tao Demon Sect's ruins. Within the rainbow was an elderly man with red hair. In an instant, the sound of the world-shaking thunder vanished, as if a bustling marketplace had suddenly fallen silent. At that moment, the rainbow shattered, and the entire world was plunged into a deathly quiet. A figure appeared 100 paces ahead of Wang Lin. It was the red-haired elder, dressed in a purple robe with golden edges. On the right corner of his robe was a Tai Chi symbol, its fiery red color seemingly symbolizing the Tao. Did you destroy my Tao Demon Sect? The red-haired elder stood there, staring at Wang Lin. After a long pause, he spoke slowly. His voice was calm, with no sign of emotional fluctuation, but it carried countless echoes that reverberated more and more violently. By the end, it seemed as if the heavens were screaming and the earth was roaring, delivering a world-shattering sound that reverberated through Wang Lin's body. Yes. Wang Lin stood calmly, his pupils slightly contracting, and spoke slowly. After destroying my Tao demon sect, you still wait for me to arrive. Are you challenging me? The red-haired elder's gaze became even more piercing after seeing Wang Lin's calm expression. Yes. Wang Lin stared at the red-haired elder, speaking plainly. Good. The Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor showed no sign of underestimating him, nor did he reveal any anger. At his level of cultivation, emotional fluctuations had long been forgotten by his body. He was a heavenly venerable, a subordinate of the Tao Grand Heavenly Venerable. Though not the strongest, he still stood at the peak of the immortal clan. I give you the chance to challenge me. If you can take 3 of my punches, I will let the matter of destroying the Tao demon sect go. The Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor flung his sleeve, raised his right hand, and sent a punch toward Wang Lin from 100 paces away. As this punch landed, the color of heaven and earth changed. The entire Tao demon sect ruins instantly twisted in the sunlight. This distortion altered all the spatial changes, as if this place had become a separate existence. Within that distortion, the power of heaven and earth seemed to be drained in an instant by the red-haired elder's punch, leaving no power of heaven and earth in the space. When one reaches the level of a heavenly venerable, there is no need to rely on divine arts. A cultivator's body is the foundation. It doesn't require an exceptionally strong body. Instead, the Tao must be integrated into the body, making the body the Tao itself. When the body is the Tao, even a simple punch or kick, though lacking the power to shatter the heavens, contains the trajectory of the Tao capable of destroying everything. These were the words of the Tao Grand Heavenly Venerable, after the red-haired elder became his subordinate. With that punch, Wang Lin's pupils contracted sharply. His white hair moved without wind, and a storm of brilliance erupted in his eyes. He could feel the terrifying force of this punch. Though it seemed ordinary, it was completely fused with the heavens and earth. With a punch, the heavens and earth moved. In that punch, there was even the essence of 9 divine arts. These 9 arts didn't require seals or divine thoughts. With just a casual punch, the arts would move with the body. This was the true power of a heavenly venerable. Any golden venerable cultivator would be terrified. This single punch could kill 100 times over. This was the complete integration of one's Tao thoughts and will into the body, transforming the body into the Tao itself. The fist was the Tao. As the heavens and earth around him twisted, Wang Lin didn't retreat. Instead, he took a step forward, raising his right hand and delivering a punch of his own. He didn't immediately don the heavenly ox soul armor, but instead, relying on his current combat strength, he sought to test how he would fare against a heavenly venerable without the armor. In that instant, the world erupted from its silence with a series of deafening crashes. The ground trembled, layers upon layers crumbled, turning into countless fragments. These fragments, caught in the clash between Wang Lin and the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor, surged in all directions, only to be obstructed by the twisted void, unable to scatter too far. They could only soar upwards, spreading across the heavens and earth like a swirling dust storm. With the second step, a dark green footprint, covered by vegetation, was left behind. In the third step, the ground beneath transformed into gold, resembling a footprint made of golden iron. With the 3 steps completed, Wang Lin lifted his head to gaze at the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor within the storm. As the storm began to dissipate, the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor walked forward step by step, his expression calm as he gazed at Wang Lin. You survived my punch without injury, only retreating 3 steps, forcing out the 3 divine abilities I had integrated into my body. You truly have the strength to destroy the Tao demon sect. Wang Lin looked at the heavenly venerable ancestor with a solemn expression. That earlier punch contained 9 divine abilities, and he had only been able to counter 6 of them. The 3 steps he retreated were the result of the 3 abilities he could not neutralize. Is this the strength of a heavenly venerable? It's strong. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed. What he wanted to fight was the heavenly venerable. So, this is how a heavenly venerable fights. The scene of the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor's punch kept replaying in Wang Lin's mind, and his eyes gradually began to shine with a brighter light. He was learning. There's still the second punch. As the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor stepped forward, his red hair floated without wind, and his eyes gleamed with an eerie light. His right hand suddenly raised, and his body flickered rapidly between reality and illusion, creating a strange sight, before launching the second punch. The moment this second punch was thrown, the entire Tao demon sect rumbled, as if an invisible force appeared out of thin air, tearing the sky apart and splitting the earth. Suddenly, Wang Lin found himself surrounded by nothingness. This was an endless void, a boundless darkness. Wang Lin could see neither the sky nor the ground. It felt as though he had been sucked into another world, leaving only himself and the approaching punch within the void. Within this punch were 18 divine abilities, hurtling towards Wang Lin as it drew near. Even a golden venerable would be struck with awe at the sight of this punch, paralyzed by despair. There was no qualification to resist. Even if over 10 golden venerables attacked simultaneously, they would not be able to delay even a moment before this punch. This was no longer a matter of quantity, but of quality. Golden venerables were still engaged in casting their divine abilities, using powerful techniques and spells, but heavenly venerables fused their Tao into their bodies, blending divine abilities into every step and punch. The difference in their level was vast. 18 divine abilities combined in one punch. This punch is extremely powerful, fusing the Tao into the body, something I can't do yet. Wang Lin's eyes flickered, and his right hand suddenly raised in response, fist clenched as he charged toward the approaching second punch. I can't fuse the Tao into my body, my arts don't move with me, but my ancient Tao body, the strength I've fused into one punch, it doesn't have divine abilities, only a strike fueled by will and belief. Wang Lin's eyes burned with battle intent as his body lunged forward with a low roar, meeting the incoming punch head-on. The resounding booms echoed through the void, growing louder and louder. In an instant, the void began to crack, tearing apart and revealing a scene of destruction. As the void collapsed, the sky returned to that of the Green Devil continent, and the land became the ruins of the Tao demon sect. Wang Lin stood there, 100 feet from the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth as his body seemed to be struck by a great force, stepping back 7 times, each footprint different from the last. After the 7th step, a rumble came from within Wang Lin's body. His lowered right arm trembled, blood dripping to the ground. That was a powerful second punch. 18 divine abilities were contained in it. With each punch, the divine abilities surged, isolating space and time, creating a new realm. Wang Lin wiped the blood from his mouth and raised his head to gaze at the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor in the distance. Your cultivation may not be high, but your combat power is barely at the heavenly venerable level. However, you still don't understand the way of the heavenly venerable. I believe I am the first heavenly venerable you've fought. The Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor stepped forward, his gaze now heavy. A cultivator who doesn't know how heavenly venerables fight can withstand 2 of my punches. This person is extraordinary. After taking 10 steps, the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor's eyes shone brightly. Standing tall like a spirit of the heavens, he gazed at Wang Lin. His right hand raised for a 3rd time. If you can take my last punch, the matters of the Tao demon sect will be completely erased. This punch will be my full force. If this punch cannot kill you, then you are truly invincible. You have destroyed the Tao demon sect, and there must be a cause and effect behind it, but I will not ask. The 3rd punch will be the end. The Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor spoke slowly. This punch contains 27 types of divine abilities. How many can you withstand? The Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor said, raising his right hand. Wang Lin clearly knew that without wearing his soul armor, he could not withstand it. This punch was powerful enough to completely annihilate him. Even his Tao ancient body would not survive this punch. He would be utterly destroyed, both in body and soul. Heavenly Venerable, as expected, you are the strongest peak in the entire immortal astral continent, second only to the transcendent Heavenly Venerable. Wang Lin closed his eyes, and suddenly, the totem of the Heavenly Bull Soul appeared on his face. The totem appeared in an instant and immediately spread, enveloping Wang Lin's entire body. At the same time, Wang Lin's cultivation aura surged explosively. The aura emanated from the Heavenly Bull Soul, rapidly entering every inch of Wang Lin's flesh and blood, even rushing into his primordial spirit and soul, causing Wang Lin's cultivation to instantly rise from the early void tribulation stage to the mid-void tribulation stage. But it didn't stop there. It continued to grow explosively, reaching the peak of the late void tribulation stage, and when it reached the golden venerable level, it finally stabilized. This sudden change caused the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor to shrink his eyes for the first time. Borrowing soul power. This is the Heavenly Bull Soul power. You have gained the recognition of the Heavenly Bull Soul. To increase to such a level, you can hear the Heavenly Bull Soul's resonance. The Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor's expression changed for the first time. He was well aware that within the 72 continents of the immortal clan, 72 souls were sealed. Although these souls were sealed, the sealing's strength varied, and the strength of these souls themselves also differed. Some of these souls were already dead, and only about half of them remained alive. For example, the green demon scorpion soul, which was originally powerful, had also been sealed with great force and had been sealed for an extremely long time, even before the formation of the heavenly bull continent. Therefore, its soul had already been weakened greatly. However, the heavenly bull soul was different. Among the 72 continents, the heavenly bull soul was one of the later arrivals, with a short time of sealing. Moreover, the heavenly bull itself was an extraordinarily powerful spirit, ranking 18th among the 72 continents. Gaining the recognition of a soul wasn't particularly difficult. In every continent, there would be beings like envoys representing the souls, but this recognition was merely preliminary. Even if one borrowed soul power to temporarily increase their cultivation, at most, it would only reach the late void tribulation stage. They would not be able to reach the golden venerable level. This was a consensus. For countless years, it was rarely broken, though it wasn't impossible. There were extremely rare individuals who, by coincidence, could hear the soul's roar and, after obtaining a high degree of recognition, could borrow the soul's power to reach the golden venerable level. But golden venerable was the ultimate limit, and no one could surpass it. Unless one could gain the high recognition of the immortal clan's first soul sealed beneath the central imperial city, perhaps they could reach that level, but no other soul had that possibility. Most importantly, the number of cultivators who could borrow soul power to reach golden venerable was even fewer than the number of heavenly venerables, almost as rare as transcendent heavenly venerables. Because in each continent, at most 2 people from the same era could receive high recognition. With that, the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor had never heard of a heavenly venerable who could possess the high recognition of a soul from a continent while also holding the title of heavenly venerable. This probability, in his view, was even lower than the likelihood of a transcendent heavenly venerable appearing, second only to the birth of a new grand heavenly venerable. Being able to take my 2 punches already qualifies you for the title of heavenly venerable, and you even possess the high recognition of the heavenly bull soul. The Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor looked at Wang Lin with a gaze that revealed emotions he hadn't shown in a long time. Such a person, any grand heavenly venerable, would be extremely concerned and immediately try to recruit them. I just wonder, now that he has borrowed soul power, what level of combat power can he reach? The Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor's eyes flashed, and his raised right hand suddenly clenched into a fist, launching his 3rd punch. At the moment the punch was thrown, the fist, containing 27 divine transformations, formed a massive vortex black hole between him and Wang Lin. This black hole could devour all auras, and as soon as it appeared, fragments of the Tao demon sect's ruins were swept in and instantly consumed by the black hole. Even the sky seemed to collapse, twisting into an arc, and was wildly devoured by the vortex black hole. The earth also became an eerie half-circle, ruthlessly drawn in by the black hole. With a strange howling, the vortex black hole, while devouring heaven and earth, rushed directly toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin opened his eyes, and a surge of golden venerable cultivation flowed through his body, a power more immense than ever before. He could clearly feel it, an overwhelming strength coursing through him. His eyes flashed with golden light, and as his body swayed, a second body appeared beside him. As the second body took a step forward, more followed. The third, fourth, fifth, up to the 98th body emerged, 97 of them mere illusions, and one true. I may not be able to integrate the Tao into my body, nor make the arts move with me, but with the Godspeed art, I can strike with 98 divine abilities in an instant and battle a heavenly venerable. The focus here is on the number, not the variety of divine abilities. After all, even some heavenly venerables may not possess dozens of divine abilities, but they can integrate a single ability multiple times, amplifying their combat strength to similar levels. The key is the quantity. Once the 6 divine veins were formed, the Godspeed art allowed Wang Lin to create 97 illusory bodies with a single movement, signifying his extraordinary speed. This art is incredibly powerful, but only Wang Lin can utilize it to instantly unleash 98 divine abilities. Because Wang Lin's current battle power has reached the heavenly venerable level, he is able to do this. If his strength were below the heavenly venerable tier, even with 9 divine veins and hundreds of illusory bodies unleashing hundreds of divine abilities, he still wouldn't be able to match a heavenly venerable. Even a heavenly venerable, having learned the Godspeed art, would still only produce the effects of their own abilities. If they have only integrated 27 divine abilities, even hundreds of illusory bodies performing hundreds of abilities would still only yield power equivalent to those 27. Their limit is 27, and they cannot surpass it. It's like a bottle that can hold only a certain amount of water. No matter how much is poured in, it cannot exceed its capacity. But Wang Lin is different. His battle power, amplified by the Tao ancient body and his soul blood lineage, is infinitely vast, with soul blood playing a crucial role. With the fusion of his current strength and the borrowed power of the golden venerable, his combat power is massive beyond comparison. This is the reason why Wang Lin, after merging his Tao ancient body with his cultivation, can fight beyond his level. Another reason is that while his power in the abode realm was not as strong, after arriving at the immortal astral continent, he made tremendous progress, particularly due to his strongest doppelganger in the immortal astral void. The fusion of these 3 elements is what grants Wang Lin his current incredible power. The body is like a bottle, the cultivation is the water inside, and the strongest doppelganger gives this bottle elasticity, enabling it to constantly expand. The presence of soul blood has subtly altered Wang Lin's body, a transformation not usually visible, but one that has played a key role in enhancing his strength. This is the fundamental difference between him and other ancient clan cultivators. All these transformations may not have seemed important at first, but accumulated over time, they created a force that is truly earth-shattering. As the vortex black hole neared, 98 Wang Lins appeared simultaneously in the heavens and earth. However, these 98 Wang Lins didn't unleash 98 different abilities, they all performed one. Wang Lin repeatedly cast the Divine Bull Charge, the divine ability he obtained after acquiring the Heavenly Bull soul armor, utilizing the peak of his soul power. This ability allowed the cultivation gained from borrowing soul power to be perfectly showcased. All 98 bodies raised their hands, forming horns on their heads with a hand seal. In a continuous low roar, they charged forward, each of them headbutting toward the enemy. The earth trembled, and the sky seemed to dissolve into nothingness as the midday sun vanished. Only the demonic sect's heavenly venerable ancestor, the vortex black hole, and the 98 Wang Lins remained. As the 98 bodies collided, one by one, they vanished, leaving only a single Wang Lin, who unleashed the divine bull charge 98 times with a thunderous roar. Behind him, a massive figure of a heavenly bull appeared. It was incredibly realistic, like the true form of the heavenly bull breaking free. The bull let out a mighty roar. The heavenly bull's figure, bathed in a deep azure glow, emanated an ancient and unyielding aura. As its massive head reared up, black horns towering. The figure charged toward the black vortex with a headbutt. Divine bull charge. From a distance, it looked as if the enormous heavenly bull's shadow was protecting Wang Lin, as its horns collided with the approaching vortex black hole. If this moment were captured in a painting, it would become a legendary masterpiece, forever etched in the annals of the immortal astral continent. Boom, boom, boom. The 27 divine abilities contained within the swirling black hole shattered and collapsed upon impact. The swirling black hole itself trembled, splintering into pieces, completely disintegrating. The collapse of the black hole only caused a slight pause in the massive bull's head, but it didn't stop its momentum. The bull's head, unrelenting, rushed straight toward the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor. The entire sequence happened so fast, almost as if the instant the black hole collapsed, the bull's head with its dark horns was already right in front of the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor. The red-haired elder's expression suddenly changed, and a rare look of terror flashed in his eyes as he rapidly retreated. 98 divine abilities merged. He hasn't integrated the Tao into his body, but by doing it this way, he can achieve a similar effect. If he could integrate the Tao, would he not be even stronger? The limit for a heavenly venerable is 99 abilities. One more, and he would transcend into a transcendent heavenly venerable. After boosting his cultivation with soul power, how could he be this powerful? The red-haired elder growled, suddenly raising both hands, and struck forward several times in quick succession. This can rival a transcendent heavenly venerable, but he hasn't integrated the Tao into his body, meaning these 98 divine abilities aren't a unified whole. Even if they're forcibly merged now, they won't be perfect. But even so, it's hard to resist. Each time his fists landed, 27 divine abilities condensed, clashing with the bull's head. This caused the 98 divine abilities within the bull's charge to collapse and dissipate one by one. Previously, the collision with the swirling black hole had already destroyed nearly 40 abilities within the bull. Now, under the full force of the red-haired elder's counterattack, another 40 abilities shattered. However, over 10 abilities remained intact, and in the blink of an eye, they slammed into the red-haired elder, forcing him to spit out a mouthful of blood as he staggered backward. But as he did, the sky was suddenly filled with 98 identical figures of Wang Lin, each growling in unison, preparing for the second wave of the bull's charge. A massive heavenly bull reappeared in the sky, charging once more with tremendous force. Such strength, such speed. I couldn't counter the first wave completely, and this second wave is even faster. His body is too formidable, able to endure continuous divine abilities. The red-haired elder retreated swiftly. As the second wave of Wang Lin's divine abilities transformed once again into the roar of the heavenly bull, the purple Taoist robe he wore suddenly erupted with the aura of a grand heavenly venerable. This robe was a gift from the Tao Grand Heavenly Venerable, capable of protecting its wearer in critical moments. The instant the aura of the great heavenly clan emerged, a faint figure appeared on the robe. This figure was a remnant of Tao Grand Heavenly Venerable's divine thought, imprinted onto the robe. The figure emerged suddenly, blocking the massive bull's horns just as they collided with the Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor. It spun around and threw a punch directly at the heavenly bull. This punch was incredibly ordinary, as if a mortal was casually throwing a strike. The entire world seemed at peace, with no signs of any unusual phenomenon. Yet, the immense heavenly bull immediately collapsed, its 98 divine abilities obliterated as if swept away by a fierce storm. The bull's shadow crumbled, and Wang Lin, inside, was forced back 100 feet. His face turned pale, but his eyes remained sharp. Tao Grand Heavenly Venerable. Greetings, Tao Grand Heavenly Venerable. The Tao demon sect's heavenly venerable ancestor immediately clasped his hands and bowed in reverence toward the figure. The blurry figure, once indistinct, now rapidly clarified, revealing a complete face. The figure was a young man in a Taoist robe, appearing no older than 20. His black hair hung down to his shoulders, his brows were sharp like swords, and his eyes, resembling a starry sky, captivated anyone who gazed into them. Dressed simply in his Taoist robe, he stood there unassumingly. But at that moment, the sky, the earth, the winds, everything was still. Even the movement of the universe seemed to freeze in that instant. Before him, dust floated in the air, remnants of the battle that had been disturbed earlier. They should have fallen, but now they remained suspended, unmoving. The ground around him, cracked by the residual force of the battle, had completely stilled, not an inch in motion. This scene caused Wang Lin's pupils to contract. He vaguely felt that even his heartbeat was slowing, as if it might freeze along with everything else. Most astonishing was the sight of the Tao Demon Sect's sect leader, who had previously spat blood. His blood, which was about to fall to the ground, now hung in midair, suspended. This is the power of a grand heavenly venerable? This is just a fragment of Tao-e Grand Heavenly Venerable's divine thought. And yet, this divine thought alone can exert such a terrifying pressure, freezing even the entire universe in its wake. Wang Lin gazed ahead, and he realized that it wasn't that all things were frozen in place. Rather, everything, including the heavens and earth, dared not move after the appearance of the Tao-e Grand Heavenly Venerable. You are worthy to follow me. Those who follow me, I am immortal, and you shall be immortal. The young man with black hair slowly spoke, looking at Wang Lin. His eyes radiated boundless wisdom and the brilliance of countless stars.